Practically it's decent, is decent, not bad. It's alright, yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, the time you've all been waiting for. I know. I'm still introducing her. It's okay. Yeah, my bio's really long. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. In case you're just joining us, my name is DJ Zwain. This is the Sanford Sitdown, a brand new podcast talking about the city of Sanford, the good, the bad, the ugly, the weird, the indifferent. We've heard from John Gillen. We've heard from Joe Badger. We've heard from Chef Pat. And we have one more person that I announced that was going to be here. She is one of the busiest people I know. A dear, dear friend, one of the coolest Sanfordites I know. She is the owner of Hollerbach's German Restaurant. She is also all over Sanford doing charities and involved in the growth of this town in a way that not many people are doing that. So I would like to welcome to the Sanford Sit-Down my friend, Christina Hollerbach.
Thank you for not using Gwen Stefani's Hollerbach Girl.
No.
I appreciate you.
I actually know you. So I used the song Purple Hat by Sophie Tucker because it's purple and it's you.
Yeah.
How are you?
Oh, because you picked music intentionally as a DJ? That's crazy.
Isn't that crazy? I'm pretty good at it. I read a book on it once. So
Are you sure it wasn't just a TikTok?
that's literally what it was. It was just a TikTok. And actually, the guy was faking it the whole time. It's actually kind of annoying. But that's what she said. See, Joe with the Fair Villa zingers. That zinger brought to you by Fair Villa. So, how are you? You clearly aren't that busy.
Well, I was tardy because
Yes.
a new owner of a property here in downtown that I met through Rotary reached out to me for help.
Okay.
So obviously it's something I'm very passionate about talking about.
Yes.
So I gave him a tour of the facility, let him know some pros and cons and some issues he might face trying to restore a historic building, especially trying to get it into food and beverage.
Can you talk about the building?
I cannot. I cannot talk about the building yet, but I'm excited about them coming. So and even like I said in my speech to the city hall, like
Yeah.
I want to be an advocate for Sanford, but I'm also a real person, and I'm
Yep.
not going to be insincere about or misrepresent what's really happening.
This
so
is
I
why
told
I
him
like you.
pros and cons. The community is ready. The community is supportive. We want these things here, so the need and the demand is there, but the systems are not matching that, and they need to be prepared, and they need to have capital to support how long things are actually going to take to get done.
So this past Monday, you put together an event, had a lot of people showing up, had a big response from the city, and not only from people actually showing up, but also from the petition to have the city manager retire, leave, et cetera, et cetera. And the response, I was there, and I was filming and all of that, and the response from the city was overwhelming. Like, you asked people to stand up if they believed what you believe, what the petition is asking for, and basically the entire place stood up. I took a pan of the thing, and it was I did not expect that many people. I expected maybe half, that kind of thing. But I guess I was underestimating the level of response and the level of frustration that really the citizenry has had here. So when it happened, not only was it tied 2-2, we had one of the commissioners was missing, I believe. Not missing, but he was not there. He didn't attend. And
We found him.
Yeah, they found him. Good. I'm glad. Is he okay? I'm glad he's okay. So it was very sad to see, Everybody standing up. Yes, this is what we want. Over 1,000 people on this thing saying this is what we want, and they're like, "Now we're good." Like that's literally what it was.
Now we fixed it.
Yeah, now we fixed it. And actually, you know what? I have a couple-minute clip that I want to play here. Sorry that the audience doesn't get the visuals. Next time you will, I promise.
It's people standing in a room talking. In case you're curious, I can tell you about it.
If you've ever watched C-SPAN, it's like that. Yeah. Well, here's your play-by-play. This was the mayor responding to all of the. All right, we got you. Here we go. So
I think this thing that we say, there's not a formal discipline process, but we certainly can control what happens.
But how have we successfully done that, Mayor? And I'm asking you to clarify it for me, because if I'm wrong, I can stand correction. How have we done that?
Because we said we want some things fixed in permitting. We hired somebody to do that. We wanted communication fixed. We hired somebody to do that.
And
We've said let's focus on the sewer system. It's clearly being focused on.
Even if you want to pause it there, because I can take these line by
That's
line.
literally what I want you to do.
So we're literally focusing on it. We hired someone. That's after 4 years of sewage issues where I've lost close to $500,000. And that's just me. That's not other businesses. That's not people that lost their homes. That's just what I know. So yeah, we're focusing on it now. And I think this whole thing with the petition is, I've been accused of why are you attacking them? What you guys are seeing the tip of an iceberg where there's been years of serving on advisory boards, being on coalitions, being on task force, trying to get the city manager's evaluation changed so that they can hold them better accountable more effectively. Because our first MO wasn't get rid of this guy. Our first MO was let's tell this guy where we're at and get him to be a part of this culture.
Yep.
So we've gone through all of these stages before we've gotten to this point. And frankly, I hate that it's here.
Yeah.
I would have much rather resolved this and collaborated together to fix these problems than air dirty laundry. But we know through city's efforts, that's the only way they pay attention. They don't do anything unless I publicly shame them on the internet. And I don't want to be that person. I've told Art, you turned me into someone I don't like. I don't like to be angry. I don't like to be frustrated. I don't like to tell people not to have a business here. But you have given me no choice. And so when he says we're working on it, we hired a guy, how does that supposed to make me feel when it is still not done now?
Yeah.
And that they left that job vacant for forever. It took them forever to hire someone. And then they get in that role and you've given nothing but red tape about purchase orders or RFPs. And we know what the problem is. We know we had available funding. Why does it take this long? And I understand the speed of government is way different than the private sector. I'm not oblivious to that. But I think 4.5 years while
That's too much.
Sewage water comes up through the floor is not an acceptable time.
Yeah.
And even one of my last meetings with the city manager, I had a very sincere question. And I said, if this isn't a priority to you, what is? Right? And of course, no answer for that one.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It's that's what I saw on Monday, and I've only been to a couple of these, and every time it does feel very like we're wasting their time. They're doing us a favor. Not for nothing. I thought y'all worked for us. That's last I checked.
And really, I mean, Art. I try and meet people where they're at, understand where they're coming from, and Art's entire experience really comes from government and the education system. And those are traditionally systems that are not encouraging or empowering change. Yeah. They're very difficult to change. So I get that his mindset is different than mine because he's used to just dealing with what was given to him. So I understand that about him. But it's if this many people are coming to you and saying it's a problem, he needs to stop treating us like petulant children in his classroom and start treating us like neighbors, like colleagues. Because I'm so tired of getting dismissed and talked down to we don't know what it's like. It can be better. The fact that he can't see that it can be better is my biggest frustration.
And what do you think is so what's next? What do you think is next for now that we know that the city doesn't want to listen, now that we know that they don't want to act, that there's always an excuse, and we can go to the next ones too, but what is next for us? Like, what is our next step?
I mean, we want to have a town hall and get some of these people that are more passionate about it together to kind of brainstorm together.
Okay.
Because it's weird how that works. You should collaborate with the community and ask for different opinions than your own to come up with a plan. Weird. But we're going to do that. And, like, honestly, we've kind of exhausted all of our efforts within the system. So to me, the only next step is either running against Art so that there's a potential for another voice on that commission to actually listen to the people.
Are you getting it? Is this an official? Are we getting an inside scoop? Is this an inside scoop? Is this an inside scoop? What are we doing here?
I will say, like, I ran for commissioner once before, but also, like, even if I had gotten that instead of Sheena, I would have been faced with the same problem she's faced, where you're a lone voice trying to fight for the people that they don't care to listen to.
Sure.
So I do think if I were to run again, that there is a different makeup on the board that could maybe encourage that kind of change or progress that wasn't there 4 years ago.
Sure.
But it's also hard, and it's why business people don't run. It's why business people don't speak up, because of fear of retaliation, or fear of getting funding cut from my programs. It's real. And so, like, a lot of people are, and, like, how did it get this bad so long? Because we don't say anything, because we're scared. And I'll say, there's a business owner or a corporation I won't name, that when I first launched the petition back in October, they emailed me and said, I am so glad you said something. We've opened 246 locations across the nation, and by far, Sanford was the most difficult city we have worked with in our careers.
Wow.
That's embarrassing.
That is
embarrassing. You know, and that's the thing that Art doesn't understand. It's not just, the permits suck and I had to wait too long. I can't even get contractors to quote projects because they go, oh, you're in historic Sanford? I can't afford to put that on my schedule. I can't afford to figure out how to fit that into my life because it's so unknown how long things are going to take. So when that happens, it's this trickle down if we get poor developers, poor contractors, poor workers, because the real people doing work don't have time with this mess, and our reputation in the community and abroad is not great, and I want to fix that.
And I agree with you. I think that someone should run.
But I also have to run my business. And
I know.
160 people while the economy is on fire, and I have a business with a lot of imported goods.
I know. Look, I'll tell you a personal, like, I don't have but 3 years actually living and dealing with the local government. And not only were both times or 3 times I think that I've been to these meetings, have they felt like, we're just kind of like bothering them, like from, I don't know, going and shaking hands and kissing babies or something. I have no idea what they do.
It's basically, are you done now?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I feel like.
That's literally, and when it's not that, it's the complete opposite. Because I met with someone, I'm not going to say who, in the government, and they told me that they had a project that my company was going to be hopefully providing. That when we started talking in August of 24, they said it was going to be for November. And I was like, I mean, that's a little far, but okay, we could do that. November, I reach out, and this is after having a couple meetings and actually giving them some ideas. They were like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna do it in January." I was like, "Okay, that's different than you said." Cool. So January, I email, and they're like, "Yeah, could you send us another proposal? We're gonna put it for fiscal year 2026." I'm sorry, what? And so I started the Sanford Sitdown.
And I think that's what they don't get. Like, in part of my speech, I said, these people standing up, they're not your enemies. These are community partners and collaborators that are desperate to help the city take us to that next point, but they do not want it.
I gave them no less than half a dozen ideas that thankfully they didn't remember that I'm going to implement here.
No, they'll implement them 10 years from now.
Oh, yeah, that's cool. Hey, do it 10 years from now.
Nobody does podcasts anymore, and we're all on holograms. I don't know.
Audio. The audio podcast. That's, don't get me started. Don't get me freaking started. We put a man on the moon, people.
No, we put 5 gorgeous glam ladies.
Awesome. Oh, God. This Yes, we're laughing because we don't want to cry. So,
But what a wonderful world.
yeah. So, look, I want to keep laughing, and I want to keep
I have to.
I know. That's the problem. The problem is that we have this. It's like having. I don't want to even say a parent, but like I think your teacher analogy was on point. Like it feels like we are children, and I'm like, hey guys, I've been doing this shit 20 years. This is like I am literally handing you a program, and you're like, nah, we're good. You know what? All right,
They
fine.
fixed it.
You know, yeah, they.
Let's hear another art drop of wisdom
Oh
for
yes.
me to counter.
Oh please, yes. Hold on, let me. We're right
So
here.
we said we
Think.
somebody to do that. We wanted communication fixed. We hired somebody to do that.
And it's
We've
still-
said let's focus on the sewer system. It's clearly being focused on.
in a government role, I do not want to have to come to the city manager every single day about issues. Some things I expect the city manager to manage. I'm coming to Mr. Bonaparte constantly. I'm calling constantly. You're seeing this stuff, Mayor. The commissions are seeing this stuff. We're not just making things up. It's not just, I just don't like Norton. There are real issues that are here. The litter control thing that I brought up at the last meeting, that's not something that I made up. But if I didn't go and do my due diligence and check myself, that's not for me to do that. That's the city manager that should be doing that. The HR stuff, that's the city manager that should be doing that, not me. I do not take delight in reprimanding, talking down, raising my voice, being emotional to anybody. I love this city more than anything. It's not changing. My evaluations are 2 pages of examples of the things that I'm talking about. Going to meetings and being pre-prepared so that I don't walk into a room with my business owners and everybody's looking at each other. That's not me attacking.
But didn't you tell him during the one-on-one that that's improved?
Yes, I did. There's still so many other issues.
Okay.
Like, is that how you want your mayor to talk to a fellow commissioner or to a prospective business owner?
Yeah.
Of just like that, and you can hear in Sheena's voice the extreme frustration. Like
It's getting done.
They're saying, "Oh, she's too emotional." Why should she not be? Saying that she's not holding the right kind of decorum, she's frustrated. We've all been working within the system for a long time.
Yep.
And like, what do we have to say or do to get them to listen? And then when we start to escalate or raise our voice, oh, now we're being mean, now we're attacking. It's like, no, it's accountability.
Yep.
And like, she harps on it too. Like, this is not about people. These are all wonderful, kind people, but you can be a good person and also not be good at your job. Like, they can both
100%.
exist in the same reality.
Yeah, I think that the idea of somebody else running is good. Somebody else, not saying who in particular, but someone. And I think that what Sheena was saying, like I don't know much about Sheena. I just saw what she did there, and I agreed with 99% of what she said. So I think that it sounds like we are being gaslit by other commissioners and by other people within the government, and we're sick of it. So
Did anybody see that Kathy Bates video where she's getting interviewed about her Oscar win for like Matlock or whatever?
No.
And there was a time in her past where she's like, yes, my mom got very upset with me because I forgot to thank her and I didn't thank her. And the interview was like, no, you did. I got the clip. And like she listens to the clip and starts crying because you can see the damage that her mom had done to her whole life, making her feel like. And so she spent decades believing she wasn't good enough and she didn't actually take care of that one comment. And it's like, but she did. And that realization on her face that, oh my God, I'm traumatized.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
And like that's kind of how it feels. It's just like listening to them talk about, oh, we fixed it. It's solved. Like it's like, are you out of your mind?
Yeah, and I think at least for me, and this is one of the reasons why I probably wouldn't run for office, I would say, is that like all of these things are going out and like all of these things are happening or not happening as the case may be. And then you see people hanging out and partying and stuff like that. And you're like, hey, aren't you? Why isn't? I mean, like, I know you're not supposed to be at 11 o'clock at night on a Friday, working on things. But like, I think there is something when you see someone that's supposed to be doing something for the city, not doing something. And then you just see them like out doing.
I wish I would see Art out more, to be honest.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like, yeah, I wasn't talking about Art in particular. I was talking about somebody else. But I will say that like, it seems like there is a tide turning. And I think that somebody should run and somebody should do something about it.
And I am so passionate about Sanford.
I know.
And
this is the reason.
And not just the community, but also the employees. I always look at the commission, like, board of directors is to CEO as commission is to city manager. And if I ran a company the way he runs the city, I wouldn't have a job. No. But he gets a raise. So it's just
the raise thing got me. The raise thing absolutely blew me away.
Yes, I understand cost of living and all that kind of crap, but like if somebody's writing a 2-page report about your performance, there's been a motion for your dismissal before, you have lawsuits out the word, like it's like, how are you still like, hey, thanks Norton, here you go? Like that's crazy. And also, like, again, Norton's such a nice man, but like, why does he still want this job? You know, like I don't understand. So like one of the last like real conversations, and by the way, like again, wonderful man. Before I posted the petition, I met with him personally, told him I was going to do it. I've been very above
How was his
board.
reaction when you did that?
I appreciate your candor, and I know you're doing what's best for Sanford.
Wow, that was a very political answer.
Yeah. And like he's smart. He knows what he's doing. But it's one of the last emails we had was I got quoted in a newspaper talking about my displeasure of city leadership, and he asked me an email with a link and said, hey, can you please explain why you're upset? So I giant email of all these departments I feel are underperforming. How come we can't get people hired? What's going on with Citizen Serve? Why do we pay a consultant to start a new program and then not use the program? Boom, 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 boom. And then at the bottom I put, I know you're a nice man. We're both Rotarians in the same group. I know you're a good person. And like, if I am so off base about my expectations for your job, what should I expect instead? And I never received an answer to that one either. So like, I'm not coming at him attacking. Like, it's like even in the other in-person meeting, if this isn't important, what is? If this is not what should I expect, what should I expect? Like, tell me. Like, I'd much rather have somebody in my face yelling at me disagreeing than to get what I get from Norton.
100%.
Because at least when somebody disagrees, we can talk about it.
There's a place to start.
We can go, okay, well, that's a great point I didn't think of. Let's build on that together. I'd rather you disagree to my face than just tell me what a lovely day we're having. Like, that's not leadership.
That's the reason I couldn't do politics. I couldn't do that. I couldn't just like, wait, nice day. Dude, what? Lawsuits. Like... I would just, I couldn't do it. And I'm glad that there are people like you that are thinking even remotely about doing something government-wise, because it takes a special kind of person to do that kind of stuff. And honestly, I think hospitality is...
it prepared me.
For real. As somebody who spent, let's see, 8 weeks in the food service industry... Before I said, this ain't for me. Yeah. I 100% agree that type of environment prepares you for this kind of thing. Is there anything that we should be plugging, anything that we should be paying attention to between now and the next Sanford Sitdown? I want you on the next Sitdown. I want you to be
I'm surprised. I love to talk.
I want you to be my government update whisperer person.
Well, we should tell them about our idea that
Too late, I already told them.
Okay, what do you guys think? So maybe that's our call to action. I love Mystery Science Theater 3000, right? So I want Poly Science Theater 3000 because I'm not talking just about Sanford. I've had this idea for a while because it frustrates me to no end how much attention our society gives to federal politics, but when local and county is really what affects your day to day.
That's
Nobody
exactly
goes, nobody cares. Most people can't even tell you who their representatives are. So this really came from more of a civic duty thing about just getting people interested in politics than it did about critiquing our current affairs.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make it fun, and I even joked about it with some of the commissioners to see if they would be okay with it. But I wanted like a bingo card, like, did Art wear green today because he likes green? So like not making them mean, but just making them observational. Did Patty Mahaney open a Diet Coke on the microphone? So like it's like funny things that happen that aren't like nice timing.
Yeah.
So I think as long as people are just like, oh crap, he said it, and they take a shot or something, like that's I wanted people to just.
But can it be funny? Because like wearing green, okay, fine. But like if they use. Okay, so the way that I was envisioning it, it's a little bit different.
A little grittier.
Imagine that, a little bit grittier. No, I was thinking like, when they use an excuse like we're working on it or any line like that, maybe do...
my one for Norton was, what I'm hearing you say is. That's my... It makes me cringe just as much
it's so
as...
like...
But that's the way we've always done it.
Yeah.
Those are high up on my iTwitch list.
Yeah, so we're gonna work that out, I promise you. I'm already thinking up the graphics and stuff like that. And by I'm thinking up the graphics is I'm going to write it down on a napkin and Aaron is going to make it look good because that's what he does.
I also really want it to be actual puppets.
Yeah.
I think that would be fun for me. But again, because like there are parts of the meeting that are boring.
Absolutely.
Anytime an attorney speaks or reads
we should have
congruent with and in progress of and section one, like you zone out.
Fast forward. A quick fast forward with the...
Yeah. Or even if we're doing it live, that's when you riff and you give people context and you keep them going like, oh, okay, crap, they're done reading the resolution now. We can pay attention again. I think that there's ways we can make local politics fun and engaging for people.
Yeah.
Because when I ran for office last time, that was the most disappointing thing to me is not winning or whatever. It's how much people didn't understand civic duty.
Yeah.
So for our elections here in Sanford, based on our charter, they happen in August during the primaries.
Okay.
So if it's a non-presidential election, most people are like, I don't even go to the primaries. I don't even know when they are.
Yeah.
Or they say, I'm an independent, so they think they can't vote at the primaries. But there's a lot of resolutions, school board, lots of other local things that happen during that election that people are very unaware about. Also, Sanford is nonpartisan. They're NPA candidates. So when I was doing door knocking, I spent most of the time educating people when the election is, telling them they, in fact, can go to it, and what an NPA candidate was. And also, they don't understand what different politicians actually have purview over. And so, I'll be happy to say, well, what party are you? It's like, well, I'm an NPA candidate. I'll tell you what I'm registered in and how I feel about certain things, but I have no control over abortion rights in the city of Sanford. Have that conversation with the senator. That's super important. Having that conversation with me, I can agree with you or disagree with you. It ain't gonna matter. So it was just amazing to me, people's lack of knowledge when it came to the civic process. And so it really came from trying to make education fun.
Hey, look, I've always said...
I still want to have that science fair by Fair Villa, an adult science fair. Tell me that wouldn't be dope, right?
So Zwain Entertainment. So
I got the poster board.
Right. So I think that this is a good start for this show, both from having everybody on the show and having you come in and talk about what's happening today in Sanford that is frankly pissing people off. And so we're going to be talking about the good, the bad, the ugly, the weird, everything Sanford. We're going to be talking about it here on the Sanford Sit Down. And so can I on camera, can I commit to have you on next month? All right.
And we're going to end on a happy note. So there are struggles. You said good, bad, and ugly.
Yes.
There's struggles. Not going to lie.
Exactly.
But the community's awesome. We've got so many fun events this weekend.
Yes.
An egg hunt block party, a 420 fest, a museum event.
Yep.
Like there is something for everybody. So many wonderful things
I'm
to
DJing
see and do,
also.
to bring families or to just come as couples or do whatever.
Yeah.
There is something for everybody. So don't let our negative issues about politics and the progress and future of our city affect the now. Because the more we continue to support these businesses, support these initiatives, it does show the commission the kind of city that we want to be in the future.
Hear, hear. Thank you so much for being here. Give it up for That is Christina Hollerbach. Thank you for hanging out. Next month, let's do something with the with all of those frequently the things that you were educating people on. Let's do a list of that because I think that would be.
Can I bring a soapbox?
You absolutely bring. I'll be mad if you don't bring a soapbox. How about that? My name is DJ Zwain. You can find me anywhere on social media at DJ ZOUAIN. You can find the Sanford Sitdown on. Well, the Sanford Sitdown on Facebook, on Instagram, on YouTube. We're going to be doing the live streams from the DJ Zwain page right now until we get the credentials to be able to go live elsewhere. We're going to be doing this show again. Do you want to do a live audience thing again? Okay, apparently we want to do a live audience thing again. So next time we're going to be announcing it a little bit earlier. And I will let you know where we're going to be so that you can be a part of the program as well. But until then, my name is DJ Zwain, and I want to thank you for being a part of the inaugural Sanford Sitdown. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.
The Sanford Sitdown.
We'll see you next time.